there are a lot of arguments that are posed in defense of the actions of the United States. You know, everyone goes to war and does nasty things. Well, if the United States were to scale down its military, it would be attacked, and then who else could rule the world? You know, war isn't perfect. Difficult decisions have to be made. At least it's not North Korea, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What have been some of your best responses to these types of justifications and others?
Yeah, one of the most common arguments is, I hear, is that, well, every great power does things like this. Every great power imposes its will militarily on other countries, and you can't just single out the U.S. for that. And I say, well, consider this. You can find anti-Semitism in every country of the world. So why do we single out Nazi Germany for condemnation in that area? Well, obviously, it's because they are an extreme example, and they have to be singled out. And I maintain that as far as invading and bombing other countries, the U.S. foreign policy is an extreme example. And they have to be singled out, otherwise you would not fully appreciate what they've been doing.
All right. How does the media cover up or justify, in your experience, foreign policy atrocities committed by the United States?
The main shortcoming of the media is that, and I've been asked many times, why do you attack the American media when you quote from them so much? You quote from the Washington Post and the New York Times and the LA Times extensively. You know, if they're so bad, why do you? And I say, the shortcoming of the American media lies not in their errors of commission; it lies in their errors of omission. It's what they leave out that makes them so unreliable and that distorts the picture. It's not that they tell blatant lies. So you can accept the facts that they present. I mean, and people in the alternative media like myself do not have the resources or the money or the access to power as these papers do. So we cannot begin to compete with them to acquire the factual information that they acquire. And so we have to use them, and it's very good. I'm very glad that the Post and the Times are there for that purpose. I'm very glad to use them. But it's what they leave out that you have to be aware of. And my books can be seen to a large extent as filling in the blank spaces, filling in what has been left out by NPR and CNN and the Post and Times. That's my purpose in my writing.
President Obama has targeted 6 government whistleblowers under the Espionage Act, which is more than all previous administrations combined. He's vastly expanded the government surveillance of American citizens far beyond Bush. Thousands of Americans are being spied on. He's formally codified military detention indefinitely into U.S. law. He's authorized the deployment of as many as 30,000 spy drones into U.S. skies by 2020. He's signed an executive order giving him control of media and communications networks during times of national emergency. He's assassinated 3 American citizens. The list goes on. Do we have to wait until we're literally all wearing like identical gray jumpsuits to realize that we're living in a totalitarian, Orwellian state?
Well, it's like the classic example of the boiling frog. You've heard about that. You put a frog into cool water, and you very gradually increase the heat, and the frog stays there comfortable, and it gets hotter and hotter, and it reaches the boiling point, and the frog finally dies. If you put him into boiling water immediately, it would have jumped out right away. See, but when it's so gradual, it doesn't know what's going on, and it becomes acclimatized to it, and that's what Americans are. They're getting used to this, you know. Well, yeah, I know they're spying on us, but we have to fight terrorism, blah blah blah. And at the airport, they have to see me naked because we have to fight terrorism. So it's step by step. It builds up, and that's the way it's been all over the world forever. In the German, this has been explained in detail in Nazi Germany, how the Nazi laws were imposed step by step until people finally realized that this was a terrible police state, and they had to get out, and many didn't leave until the late 30s, or often it was too late for them. So this is a classic step-by-step abridgment of our freedoms, our civil liberties.
Mr. Blum, what can stop the American empire? How can it be dismantled?
Only the American people can stop the empire, and the main barrier for the American people to do that, and this is, I harp on this again and again, I've been harping on it for years and years, the main barrier to winning over the American people to the side that I espouse is their deep-seated belief that no matter what the U.S. government does abroad, they mean well. Their intentions are honorable, if not noble. And if you don't deal with that basic belief, it's like talking to a stone wall. You can present to the American mind 1,001 examples of the horror carried out by U.S. foreign policy, and 100 examples of lies and what have you. But they'll rationalize it. They'll think, yeah, that's pretty bad, but we do mean well, and we have to keep trying our best to succeed in doing good things, and even if we fuck up occasionally. So that's what I focus on mainly, is this basic belief of we mean well. You'll find that in my writings, all over my writings, in one form or another.
Mr. Blum, thanks so much. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome. And I must tell you, you are better prepared than almost anyone who's ever interviewed me. I mean, you really have done your homework. I'm impressed.
This is the first interview I've done, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I've never interviewed anyone.
My God, you have a future. You did your homework, and you know your stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know when I'll finish that by. Maybe, well, obviously you'll be the first to see it.
When will it be on CNN? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it'll be on CNN. Wolf Blitzer will give me his endorsement.